Let's get started with our first news. Belal Muhammad has his sights firmly set on a potential showdown with former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. As the UFC welterweight division continues to evolve, Belal is positioning himself for what could be one of the most high-profile fights of his career. Kamaru Usman is scheduled to make his return at UFC Atlanta on June 14th, where he'll face rising contender Joaquin Buckley in what many consider a must-win bout for the former champ. While Buckley has been on an impressive run, the narrative surrounding this fight is quickly shifting toward what might come next. And for Belal Muhammad, that means stepping into the cage with Usman. If he gets his W, I'm making sure he's good, then we'll see what's next, Belal told reporters. When I look at the landscape of the division and I think about what makes sense, Usman's name jumps out right away. That's the fight I want. Belal, who has quietly worked his way up the welterweight ladder with consistent performances and undeniable grit, believes a matchup with Usman is not only logical, it's inevitable. You've got guys like Ian Gary, Sean Brady, all great fighters, but when it comes to the biggest test, it's Kamaru. Even if Buckley manages to pull off an upset on June 14th, Belal doesn't think that changes the equation much. If Buckley wins, sure, it shakes things up. But even then, whoever is next for the title will have to win one more fight. That's what it comes down to, Belal said. But for me, he continued, I'm gonna make a statement. I'm putting it out there. I'm gonna get it. No guessing, no hoping. I'm earning it. Belal also spoke about his current mindset and preparation, saying he's never felt better, physically or mentally. I felt the best I've ever felt, the strongest I've ever been. Had a great camp, great energy. I'm still improving every fight. I still have that hunger, that fire inside. I'm not done. I'm not tired. I'm not slowing down. More than just chasing wins, Belal says he's chasing something greater, a legacy. I'm still chasing the dream. I'm chasing legacy. I'm chasing GSP. Referring to Georges St-Pierre, widely considered the greatest welterweight of all time, Belal acknowledged the path won't be easy. GSP lost the belt and he came back. He proved everyone wrong. I don't care how old people say I am. If you think you can beat me, go ahead, try. But not many guys are going to be able to do that. With the welterweight division wide open and eyes on Usman's return, all signs point to an exciting few months ahead, and Belal Muhammad is ready to seize the moment. Second news, Daniel Cormier says it's not cool for Nate Diaz to be street fighting. Former UFC double champion and current analyst Daniel Cormier has spoken out about the recent viral footage of Nate Diaz once again getting involved in a street altercation. The video, which quickly circulated on social media, shows Diaz throwing punches in a heated confrontation outside an event, stirring up concern from fans, and now criticism from one of the most respected voices in MMA. Cormier, never one to hold back his opinions, reacted strongly to the footage and addressed the issue on his show. His message was clear: it's time for Nate Diaz to grow up. Nate is 40 years old now, Cormier said. At some point, guys, you can't be out there fighting in the street anymore. The frustration in DC's tone was evident as he tried to make sense of why someone with Diaz's career, fame, and success would still find himself in these types of situations. When is it not cool to be the tough guy anymore? He asked. Like seriously, we've all seen pictures of Nate with his beautiful family, his house, his wife, his kids. He's got everything now, so why still act like this? Cormier, who is just a year older than Diaz, made a personal comparison, reflecting on how his own behavior has matured with age. I'm 41 and I don't do the things I did in my 20s. In your 20s, sure, you're young, full of ego, full of fight. That was cool back then. But at 40, it just serves no purpose. Diaz, known for his street tough background and no-nonsense attitude, has always embraced his image as a brawler both inside and outside the cage. But Cormier believes there's a difference between being real and being reckless. And at this stage in life, he feels Nate is leaning toward the latter. It's not about being scared or soft, Cormier continued. It's about being wise. You've already proved yourself. You've made it. You don't need to be throwing hands outside of a building anymore to show you're a tough guy. We all know you're tough. You built a career off of it. But now it just looks sad. Cormier's comments have sparked plenty of discussion in the MMA world, with fans divided. Some support DC's message, saying it's time for Diaz to protect his image and stay out of trouble. Others defend Nate, saying that he's always been true to himself and doesn't care about public perception. But whether you agree or not, the message from Cormier was heartfelt and honest. He's not attacking Diaz, he's worried. He's urging a fellow fighter, a legend of the game, to recognize how much he's achieved and how much he stands to lose by staying in the streets instead of simply enjoying the success he's earned. Moving on, Arman Tsarukyan's live reaction to Topuria vs Oliveira title fight announcement. On a recent episode of Jackson's Behind the Moran, Arman Tsarukyan's camp shared raw, emotional footage of the team's live reaction to the breaking news. Ilia Topuria will fight Charles Oliveira for the vacant UFC lightweight title. The announcement sent a shockwave through the MMA world, and especially through Tsarukyan's camp, where many believe Arman should have been the one standing across from Topuria. For context, Tsarukyan is currently the #1 ranked lightweight contender, fresh off a razor-thin split decision victory over Charles Oliveira at UFC 300. Many fans and analysts considered that fight to be a title eliminator, so naturally, when it was revealed that Oliveira would still get the shot, and not Arman, emotions ran high. Inside the gym, the mood was tense. One of Arman's coaches, clearly frustrated, said what a lot of fans are thinking. "We just found out Ilia is fighting Charles," he said. "Everybody knows who should be fighting for the belt right now. We know who the real #1 contender is. It's this guy, Arman." Tsarukyan sat in silence, soaking in the news. The look on his face said it all. A mixture of disbelief, anger, and disappointment. After years of grinding through the rankings, taking on the toughest opponents, and earning every inch of respect inside the octagon, he's once again being overlooked. "He's battled to get here," the coach continued. "He earned everything, every win, every ranking jump, every bit of hype. Nothing was given to him. And now," coach paused before delivering a heavy statement that caught viewers' attention. "He doesn't even want to train if there's no belt. If there's no strap, ain't no fight. He's that hungry. He's that locked in." It's clear that for Arman Tsarukyan, this isn't just about fighting. It's about fighting for something meaningful. He's not interested in just staying active or padding his resume. He wants the belt. He believes he deserves the belt. And now, with the title going to a fighter he already beat, the frustration is hard to hide. Many fans on social media have echoed the same sentiment. If rankings are supposed to matter, how can the #1 contender be skipped? The situation is made even more controversial by the fact that Arman defeated Oliveira just months ago. Even though it was a close fight, a win is a win. And in most divisions, a win over a former champion like Oliveira should catapult a fighter directly into a title opportunity. For now, Tsarukyan waits. Whether he gets a shot after this title fight or is forced to take another high-risk matchup remains unclear, but one thing is certain: Arman Tsarukyan isn't going to stay quiet, and he's not done chasing gold. Next up, Chael Sonnen reacts to Paddy vs Gaethje potential fight. Former UFC star and current analyst Chael Sonnen has weighed in on one of the most talked about matchups in the UFC lightweight division, Paddy Pimblett vs Justin Gaethje, and the rising Liverpoolian's bold plans to climb the ranks and chase UFC gold. After his devastating TKO victory over Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett has made it clear he's not here to just entertain. He's here to take over, and his sights are now set squarely on some of the division's most dangerous names, starting with the highlight himself, Justin Gaethje. On a recent episode of Beyond the Fight, Sonnen shared his excitement and curiosity about Paddy's trajectory. Paddy said he wants Gaethje first, then he's coming for Ilia, Chael began. And now he's even talking about skipping Arman Tsarukyan altogether. The question is, how do we get there? What's the path? Sonnen didn't hold back his praise for the potential chaos that these matchups could bring to the octagon. "Imagine Paddy versus Ilia," he said. "Two massive European stars, polar opposite personalities. Ilia's technical, clinical violence versus Paddy's wild scrambling, awkward strikes, and unpredictable grappling. That's chaos, that's magic, that's a poster and a promo that writes itself." But Chael also made it clear, don't overlook the immediate matchup everyone's buzzing about, Pimblett versus Gaethje. Don't sleep on Paddy versus Gaethje either, he emphasized. You've got Gaethje's savage leg kicks, knockout power, and constant forward pressure versus Paddy's confidence, awkward angles, and insane ability to scramble and survive. That's not just a fight, that's fight of the year material. What excites Sonnen most is that Paddy Pimblett, once thought of as more hype than substance, is finally showing signs that he belongs in these conversations. The win over Chandler wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. One thing's clear, Paddy Pimblett is locked in, Sonnen said. He's dangerous, and he's closer than ever to breaking into that elite circle. While some fans remain skeptical of Paddy's sudden leap toward top-tier opponents, Sonnen believes that in the UFC, where timing, popularity, and momentum can matter as much as rankings, anything is possible. Still, the analyst posed an important question. What does the UFC want? If Paddy truly wants to go through Gaethje and then Topuria, and maybe skip over Arman Tsarukyan, the current #1 contender, will the UFC support that plan? Or will the matchmaking gods force him to take a tougher, less glamorous path? There's always a route, Sonnen said, but the UFC has to believe in the journey. If Paddy sells it right, if he gets the fans behind him, he might just skip the line. For now, the lightweight division is heating up, and Paddy Pimblett is right in the middle of the storm. Next, Jon Jones trains with Islam Makhachev and Khabib Nurmagomedov. One of the biggest names in MMA history has touched down in Dagestan, and this time, Jon Bones Jones isn't just there for the cameras. According to several top Russian MMA sources, Jones has officially begun training with UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev and the legendary undefeated former champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. Jones's arrival in Dagestan marks a major moment in the world of mixed martial arts. While Jon has traveled the region before, conducting seminars and training with local athletes, this is the first time he's officially linking up with Team Khabib for actual training sessions, and it's happening in the heartland of some of the most dominant grapplers the sport has ever seen. The news was first confirmed by Rustam Khabilov, a former UFC fighter and longtime training partner of Jones from their days at Jackson Wink MMA in Albuquerque. In an interview with Russian media, Khabilov revealed the significance of this visit. "Jon is already flying in," Khabilov said. "We've talked about this for a long time. Now it's happening. Of course, Khabib and Islam will be here, and if we're lucky, we'll get some training footage." And that is something every MMA fan around the world would love to see. Jones's training camp in Dagestan also overlaps with his appearance on the Russian edition of The Ultimate Fighter, where he'll be filming alongside none other than Nate Diaz. The pairing of Jones and Diaz, two of the most controversial and unpredictable stars in UFC history, has already sparked major interest, but it's the training partnership with Islam and Khabib that's stealing the spotlight. However, Jones's trip hasn't been entirely smooth. Reports have surfaced showing Jon appearing intoxicated in public, and there are unconfirmed rumors of minor altercations while filming. While these incidents have caused concern among fans, sources close to the Dagestani team have emphasized that the training aspect of the visit remains the priority. The move to train with Islam and Khabib is seen by many as a strategic decision. Jones, who currently holds the UFC heavyweight title, has been inactive due to injury, but speculation is swirling about a return to action, possibly later this year. Getting in high-level grappling work with the most dominant lightweights in the world could serve as a unique form of cross-training that sharpens Jon's already elite wrestling and ground control. For fans, this is a dream collaboration, the GOAT of light heavyweight and heavyweight MMA joining forces with the best lightweight grappler of the current era and one of the most respected retired champions in UFC history. If any footage from these sessions is released, it's sure to break the internet. Stay tuned, because if Jon Jones is serious about this camp, and if he truly bonds with Islam and Khabib, this could mark a new and dangerous chapter in his legendary career. Final update: Daniel Cormier gets honest about Ilia Topuria splitting from his coaches. In a surprising turn of events, UFC featherweight champion Ilia Topuria has reportedly parted ways with his longtime coaching team, and the timing couldn't be more shocking. With just weeks remaining until his highly anticipated title defense against Charles Oliveira, fans and analysts alike are scrambling to understand what's really going on. One of the most respected voices in the MMA world, Daniel Cormier, weighed in on the situation during a recent segment on his show. The former double champion didn't hold back when giving his honest thoughts on Topuria's Topuria's decision. "It's puzzling," DC said. "There's no bad blood apparently, just scheduling issues. But how do you split with your team at this moment, right in the heart of your career?" Cormier went on to express confusion over the logic behind the move, especially considering the momentum Topuria has right now. The undefeated Spanish-Georgian star is coming off the biggest win of his career, a dominant performance over Alexander Volkanovski to claim the 145-pound title. He's young, undefeated, and arguably entering the prime of his career. Fighters sometimes switch teams later in their careers, when maybe they've hit a wall or need new energy, Cormier continued. But Ilya, he's still rising. He's peaking. He's got the world watching him now, and everything was working. So to step away from that setup just weeks before facing a guy like Charles, something doesn't add up. Sources close to Topuria insist that the split was amicable. Reportedly, scheduling and logistical issues were the main reason behind the decision, not any personal or philosophical falling out. Still, fans and analysts are understandably skeptical. In MMA, the bond between fighter and coach is often deeper than just a working relationship. When that bond breaks close to a massive fight, especially one with title implications, it raises red flags. Topuria's title defense against Oliveira is already a high-pressure matchup. Charles brings a wealth of experience, slick jiu-jitsu, and a history of finishing top contenders. Facing a fighter like that without your original team in your corner could be a serious disadvantage. Cormier acknowledged that Topuria is still an elite athlete capable of performing under pressure, but he cautioned that the intangible effects of changing your corner could play a factor when things get tough in the octagon. "You don't realize how much you depend on familiarity, the voices, the rhythm, the energy of your corner," DC added. "In the heat of battle, that matters." As of now, Ilya hasn't released a detailed statement, and his new training arrangements remain unclear. What is clear is that this decision adds another layer of intrigue to an already high-stakes featherweight title fight. And with that, we wrap up today's combat news roundup, from Bilal's next move to Jon Jones training in Dagestan, and now Topuria's camp shakeup. The MMA world never stops turning. More updates to come soon. Stay tuned.